Hey, if you're looking to create a budget versus actual report for your small business, then you've come to the right place because we have built this budget versus actual template built specifically to help small businesses create this report. And I'm going to walk you through how to use it, how to fill it out. It's really a pretty powerful report. Not only does it give you the output, which you can kind of see here of the budget versus actual with the dollar and percent variances, but what it's really going to allow you to do is use your historical financial data to help you produce a projected budget or a set of projections. And then enter in your actual results so you can kind of see how you're performing on an ongoing basis. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to give you a discount code and provide that to you so you can get a discount on this template. We'll also put a link to this template to be able to purchase it in the description of the video below. But before I dive too far in, just a little bit of context. My name's Adam Hutsema. I'm the co-founder of ProjectionHub. And over the last decade, we've helped over 50,000 entrepreneurs create financial projections for their startups and their businesses. And today we're just focused on this budget to actual report, which is a common request that we get from our clients. And so we've created this tool to help you not only create your projections, but also track your progress as you go. So with that, let's go ahead and dive. Okay, so what I've got pulled up here is the actual end report. So this is a budget to actual report here that you can see, and we've got multiple years, but here the first year here you can see you have a budget column, an actual result column, a dollar variance, and a percent variance. And we've got that for each of the 5 years. And so I'm going to show you now how we're going to have to fill out the spreadsheet in order to be able to produce this. But by the way, you will also receive a 5-year cash flow summary, a 5-year balance sheet summary, and then an income statement, cash flow, and balance sheet, all broken down by month for each of the 5 years of the projected budget. You also get this at a glance tab with a number of graphs and charts that might be helpful for you as well. But we're going to go ahead now and show you how to input your information in order to produce this report. All right, so we're going to start on the Input Assumptions tab, and we need to enter in kind of your current balance sheet. So we need to know how much cash you have on hand, how much has been contributed as investments since the beginning of the business. Now, these are things that you'll find on your balance sheet. So if you have a balance sheet, you'll pull that out and fill these numbers in based on that. Your accounts receivable balance, your inventory balance, your accounts payable balance, all things that are going to be found on your balance sheet. You want to enter in your existing fixed assets, buildings, equipment, furniture. You can add in additional fixed assets. You can change any of these names. Any cell that's in blue is an assumption that you can change throughout the model. So change the dollar amounts, the salvage cost, all these things. And then if you are expecting to purchase additional fixed assets in the future, so say we're going to purchase new equipment in a future date, you can enter that into the model as well. You can enter in your current loans here that you have, and then loans that you expect to take out in the future as well as any additional investments that you might expect to come in the future. So this is kind of our Input Assumptions tab. Get all of those things filled out, and then we'll move over to our Input Revenue tab. Now this tab is going to help us create a set of forecasted revenues based on your historical financial results. So you have the ability to add in up to 5 years of historical financials on the revenue side, as well as the current year. If you have a current partial year, you can enter in, let's say you have just 3 months of the current year, enter in those 3 months that you have. And then from there, the tool is going to ask you to select a prediction or select a forecasting method. And so what we're saying here is we can annualize the current year, which would mean that we take the current year 3 months and we assume that we do the same amount of revenue per month over the whole year. So we can kind of annualize our current progress for the year. Or we can average the current year and the last year. We can average the current year in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and so on. So you have different ways to kind of set a baseline. And then from there, once you have that baseline, you'll be able to either increase or decrease. Your budget could increase or decrease from that baseline. So we could say, hey, we want to annualize the current year, but then we think we're going to grow 15%. So that's how you'd enter that. Or if for some reason you think this particular line item has actually been decreasing, you could put in a negative percentage here. And you also have the ability to just do a manual entry. And so let's say you've got a particular revenue item, you just say, I'm not going to mess around with setting these different baselines. I'm just going to select manual entry. I think it's going to be $10,000. We're doing $10,000 this year. So just put that in. All right, and then from there, what you have the ability to do is just set a percentage increase or decrease each year going forward. So you can say, okay, in 2024, we're going to grow this line item by 5%. This line item is going to grow by 20%, and so on. You can set those growth rates for each of the individual years in the model. And that will then produce a set of forecasted revenues here. Now we're going to go through a similar process on the expense side of things. So you will be able to set up kind of your different expense categories and categories of expenses, and then you can put in your specific expense line items in this table down here and categorize them from this drop down. And you'll be able to put in your historical financials again for the last 5 years. We go through that same process, put in your historical financials and your current year-to-date financials, and then select your forecasting method. So we would annualize current year or average last several years, that sort of thing. And then are we going to increase or decrease this expense? So maybe, hey, inflation is high, all of our expenses are increasing, so we're going to set a 5% increase for our direct materials expense as an example. And that will then predict your 2023 predicted expense. And then going forward, what we can do is there's a couple different options. So we can, again, select a prediction method. So do we want to say this expense line item is just going to increase from the previous year? So maybe it's just going to increase by some percentage from the previous year. But some of our expenses might increase or decrease kind of tied to revenue. So cost of goods sold is a good example of that. If revenue doubles, well, cost of goods sold is probably going to double as well, right? And so what we want to do here is select percentage of revenue, and then it'll ask us what type of revenue is it. Percentage of all total revenue, product revenue, service revenue, what type of revenue is it? It will show us how much of that we had in the previous year. So it's showing us that, hey, in 2022, our this particular expense was 2.6% of revenue. So we can use that information and say, okay, we think it's going to be 3%. Oh, not 300. We want 0.003. Nope, 0.03. 0.03 for 3%. And then you can kind of do that same process, either a percentage of revenue or a percent increase or decrease for all of those expenses. And that will allow us to create our projected operating expenses. Now we also have the ability down below to enter in our salary. So if you want to add your salary positions here, you can add your current salaries. You can also have these positions start in the future. So you can say, well, we're planning to hire this person, this new position in month 12 of our budget, or month 6 of our budget, that sort of thing. So you can add in those salary positions, and then it will calculate your total salaries forecasted expense based on that. All right, so that will end up producing your income statement. And if we come back to this income statement summary, that will produce this, your projected income statement. But now what we want to do is we want to actually input our actual expenses. We want to know how did we actually operate? And so it's going to pipe in those different revenue line items that you input on the other tab. And now what you want to do is just put in your actual sales, your actual consulting revenue, your actual rent revenue for each of the months. Same thing with your expenses. You want to input what your actual expenses were. And this will then allow us to produce this actual income statement. And as we go back to their income statement summary, you can see we've got the 5-year actual income statement here. And now we're finally able to produce our budget to actual report because we have both our budgeted and actual numbers. This report will then show you how you're doing on an annual basis. You'll also be able to do that on a monthly basis. You can see some of those reports. So if you come in the income statement, you'll see this little plus button. Click on that, it will expand and show you, display the different budget to actual reports for you. So on a monthly basis. So if you have any questions about this, how to fill it out, there's a lot here. And so if you need some help as you're working through this, please feel free to reach out. That's what we're here for. And you can also leave a comment in the comment section of the video below. And lastly, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. So I know I promised a discount code. So if you go into the description of the video below, there's going to be a link to a form. You can fill that form out. It's going to send you our most up-to-date coupon code that you can use then at checkout. So you'll grab that coupon code and click the link in the description of the video below to the sales page of this template. You can go grab the template, use the coupon code at checkout to get that discount So if you have, again, any questions as you're going along, or even before you get the template, please feel free to reach out to us at support@projectionhub.com. We'd be happy to help. Thanks.